Why good people are cheated on. Today, perfect husbands and porn.
I'm Cass.
I'm Kathryn. And you're allowing bitterness and resentment to build up.
Your perspectives need reality checks. I want you to stop saying I'm going to become my best version.
We're MorrowMarriage.
Let's flip divorce statistics with the new marriage.
Welcome to the MorrowMarriage podcast, guys, where we are real, raw, uncensored, and anointed. And we did the
missed our
high five. Okay.
I also like that you sing anointed. I always sing with you.
Oh, yeah, without my voice today, too. So you carried me today. But you know how she can do that? Look at this new awesome Texie shirt. We call it Texie because that's what
our daughter has a cow toy that we got her when she was 5 months old.
Yeah.
In Texas. And she calls it Texie. So this cow on my shirt
is Texie shirt.
It's my Texie shirt.
Yeah, it's nice. Anyway, so guys, today I want to talk about why good people are cheated on. Now, this is going to hurt some of you, okay? So you've heard us talk about it before, the Cascade of Betrayal, and we'll probably bring that up a little bit first, or a little bit today too. But first, I want to say this. If you're so awesome, you don't get cheated on. I'm not saying that's 100% general. That's for sure true, because on a whole, there are going to be people who are going to make mistakes. I know, for example, some of the men in my program who make mistakes and go out to get validation, who go sleep with hookers. They do the porn thing. Okay. But in general, if you treat your partner well, she's not going to cheat. He's not going to cheat on you.
Yes. Studies show that's why there's the Cascade of Betrayal, which is a list of 24 things, behaviors, signs that all happen before physical betrayal. Right. So if you have your stuff together and you are living with your partner in connection and all of these things are not happening, odds of cheating happening are very slim. There's two different ways that it does happen, not related to the Cascade of Betrayal, and that's chronic cheating. And then sometimes people, I forget how they word it, and I struggle with this every time, but basically if one partner has an illness that causes them to be not actually in the relationship anymore, it has been shown that sometimes the partner that is still coherent and mentally, physically, emotionally well will step outside of that marriage because that other partner is chronically ill and not actually participating in the marriage. It doesn't mean that it's okay, but that's one of the reasons that it can happen outside of the Cascade of Betrayal.
Yeah, and so this is a really important thing to understand, because the amount of people that comment on my social media, or the amount of people that just in general are dealing with so much pain and blame, instead of not like I know some of you that are feeling that way are going to go right down. Well, she just said there's this thing, it's characterological. I got to Google that shit and put that on my partner. And instead of going, no, I don't know the percentage, but it's going to be way at the top that you're doing something wrong and the cheating happened.
Lack of connection.
The
very first thing on that list of 24 things is turning away, meaning not turning towards, not, how do I describe that in a different way?
This is I like to use this, my favorite example for turning, because it's number one. That's why the two R's face each other, okay? But your partner says good morning, and you justify why you're not upbeat, not saying good morning, not giving a hug back, not being friendly, because you are grumpy in the mornings until you have your coffee. That's turning away. I mean, you might consider yourself turning towards if you're like,
That is actually, as long as you answer, you're turning towards.
It's just, but
there's different levels of turning towards,
that's right.
And that would be at the very bottom.
That's right.
Still could cause problems.
And I know that doesn't seem like something that somebody will cheat on you for, but that's because it's item number one.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys have to look at it
that's just where the problem starts. It's not where it ends. It's where it starts. When you ignore your partner, when you're contemptuous, when they try to speak to you, contemptuous with your body language, all of that is turning away or turning against. And that is the start to betrayal.
Yeah. And I want to give this, I want to give you just do this off the cusp, some practical examples of why you think you're so great and then you're not. Let's say you're a provider. I get this at least 10 calls a week from somebody who's like, yeah, but I give her the world and I listen and I'm available and I make sure that I help around the house and all this stuff. And on paper, that sounds pretty good, except for he didn't listen to her. He didn't talk to her. He got emotional when he didn't have sex instead of being there for her emotions. I just witnessed Kathryn while I was driving to get her some chicken coops. I listened to her talking to the men in the program and talking about, because it's a wife's perspective, talking about how she needs to get her feelings out. women are kind of funny. They're a little high with emotions, a little low with emotions. You describe this whole thing for like 4 minutes to these guys, and they're just like, oh man. Like, if you're not allowing that to happen, then you're not that great of a guy. Guess what? That's like the most important part, the emotional connection. That's what she needs. And so you did this for years. You didn't prioritize her. Maybe you also didn't prioritize her at all because you were working to get all that money. And you still considered help at home, by the way. So we can dissect this all you want. And we realize, well, you're not that great. No wonder you got cheated on. Like, you just stopped thinking
I
you're
would
so
say
awesome.
it not quite that way. I don't say no wonder you got cheated on, but because there's always a place that somebody can take responsibility. And
That's right.
I love the way Cass says it. We'll address the morals and the ethics later, the person that cheated.
Mhm.
We need to address you and where things went off the rails with connection.
Mhm.
Why did it get so far that your partner was looking for validation and connection elsewhere?
Somewhere else, guys. You know, the way that I teach this in my course, I think it's going to be valuable for you guys, because Kathryn just talked about the morals and addressing them after, okay? If you run a red light and a drunk driver, you run a red light and a drunk driver comes at you, smashes you, and kills you, okay? Yes, I know you ran a red light, and the drunk driver is still, that's worse, you know, way worse with the morals, okay? I'm betting you running the red light wasn't a moral issue, okay? Does it fucking matter? Because you're fucking dead. Like, you guys have to look at this. Problem number one, problem number two. Then we can address the morals. And by the way, most people don't have to address the morals. When you start to take responsibility for yourself and your partner takes responsibility for himself, and you start to just work together and move forward, the insecurities get taken care of, the emotional connection gets rebuilt. When you can see there's nothing but love between you, then you don't have to worry about all that shit.
Can I round that out for everybody, the red light thing? So what he's trying to say there is there's really no point in talking about the drunk driver, because if you didn't run the red light, you wouldn't have gotten hit by the drunk driver.
Yeah.
So when you think about it, put this parallel with betrayal and cheating. If your partner cheated on you, does it really matter that they cheated if you can say, okay, well, I've been turning away for 8 years, or I've been lying about my relationships with my friends, which is one of the things. Deception is on that list.
Mm-hmm.
Can you really go, oh my gosh, my partner cheated on you, when there's things that you could have done preventatively and even just to stay connected? That's what we need to address, because if that didn't happen, then you wouldn't have gotten cheated on. Now, you have to be careful that you don't bring gaslighting into this, because we don't want your partner to say, well, so if you are the cheater, you don't go to your partner and you say, well, I cheated because you didn't sleep with me.
Yeah.
I cheated because you were mean to me. I cheated. That's gaslighting. But if you're the one taking responsibility, you're not gaslighting yourself, guys. It's called taking responsibility. If you flip it on the other person, you're gaslighting the other person. If you want to, quote unquote, gaslight yourself, it's just taking responsibility and looking at what is actually true and what's not.
That's right.
So gaslight yourself, people. Moral of the story. Just kidding.
I like it. So it's not that you're a terrible person. I'm sure that there's lots of things you may have already addressed as well. By the time that this hurts you and hits you, and it hurts you that bad, okay, you start to reflect. I know you go through a bitterness. I know you go through a contemptuous. I know all of that is real. And it's probably, I dare say, one of the most painful things that a man in my program goes through. I'm not going to speak for the women, but definitely it's probably the most painful thing for a man to deal with. But when he takes responsibility, he releases the shame, he lets it all go. We let that go. You have to create a new man, and then you can bring your wife back to life. And that life it's the life you build together then after that, creating the new, you know?
Yep. Create the new.
All right, guys. See you next time.
Bye.